What's up, vibes? It's season 1, episode 2, and luckily, we're going to be talking about universal healthcare because this episode has been a pain in my ass to record, just like my 8th time. But anyway, we're also going to talk about really anything universal. That's why I put everything universal, meaning universal healthcare, universal basic income, and a total socialism type of integration that people want in America. All right, we'll get to that integration point in a second. But the fairness and niceness, I put that in the title because, like I said in my last episode, when we have these conversations, and I've noticed that this literally comes up every single time when people want to push this stuff, that they lean really heavy on compassion, nice, fair, compassion. Now, if we're asking, or if we just ask yourself, hey, does he hate compassion? Yes, I do. Because you people, you weaponize compassion every chance you get. You weaponize good deeds, fairness, nice. You weaponize this stuff, and at that point, you make it a bad thing. You make it a bad word. In these conversations, compassion to me are just a bad word because of the way you use it. You cannot legislate doing nice things. You can't. You can't do it. I know you want to. It sounds good. But all it does is make people not want to do those things. And let's get into it. The part where I said that people want to integrate socialism into the free market that we have here in America. Notice, please pay attention to what people say when they argue for this stuff. They don't want a complete overhaul and to get rid of the free market. Why? Because it wouldn't allow as much freedom. So they still want their freedom to do whatever they want to do. But then they also want a system that forces people to do something for them. And that's you talk about lazy. Listen, I know people like Joe Biden, who's not poor, obviously. They like to sell you this dream that they're for you. They're looking out for you. They have compassion for you. He was a single dad. Compassion. They don't really care about you. They don't really have compassion. How? Okay, let's say I'm Joe Biden. And I have a rich guy on my right. I have a poor guy on my left. And I look at that poor guy and I say, look, man, you deserve everything. You deserve life, you deserve clean water, you deserve everything that a human being should have. It is not the necessity, there's also some luxuries too. We'll never bring that up, but I'm sure it's also some luxuries. Okay. And then you look at the rich guy and say, I want to do it by taking out of your check. I got out of your bank account, so I'm going to take it from you. How compassionate is that? I don't care how much. I don't care if that person's a billionaire. You just took whatever, some point down the line from his family, you took from them. What if his company goes under? Then what? Yes, I know we have the $700 billion bailout. I don't agree with that either. But that's because I'm consistent and I believe that giving these people, anybody, a handout. If a free market is a free market, we'll let it be free. Whoever falls, falls. And if people see fit to save it, then those people can voluntarily come together and do so. You're going to notice that in all of these things people want, they're completely free to do. They just don't want to do it themselves. And what that tells me is either there are too many people who are lazy, which why would you tell other people to help those people, or you're selfish yourself and you're not as compassionate as you claim to be. Let's look. This one example I seen on YouTube. This guy said, in a socialist economy, the workers own the means of production. I'm assuming he said that they all own the company equally, because I don't usually own the means of production. Like, you get paid for your production. What are you talking about? So I'm assuming that he means that they own the company equally. Okay. All right. So basically, the dude who mops the floor gets paid as much as the dude who has to literally make the company work, make the company operate, right? So let's not even focus on that part. Let's not. Let's go to the two operators standing side by side at the machines, right? Let's say one of them wants to leave. How does he leave? Does he? Because he owns the company, right? So I'm assuming that he would have to sell his seat. I'm sure it's not that. If you simply just leave and you go to another place and you're just plugged right in, how the hell do you own anything if you literally just leave it, or you can just be backfired like this? That's literally the same thing we have now. So it has to be. If I'm wrong, you can come in, you can attack me and correct me. That's fine. But let's say the way it will work is, since he owns his means of production, he gets to sell his position within the company. So let's say he tells one guy who wants to buy into the company, take his position, you say, look, last year this was worth, X. Now this year is worth X plus 3. So in order, if you want to buy me out of it, you're going to have to give me X plus 5. There's still a way to make a capital within this I guess the socialist situation, this system, right? And eventually, if you're smart enough, which I can guarantee you, look at what we have here. Somebody's going to be smart enough to eventually sell enough of their seats when they move around from company to company to be able to buy quite a few seats and put people there that they want. And then you're just going to get this all over again. Or let's look at universal basic income. The number I heard rumored was everyone should get $1,500 a month. Everybody. Now, when you say everybody, I'm sure you mean everybody who ain't rich or who you deem rich, right? So let's say somebody owns a business, right? And let's say they have a few kids, right? Or let's say they adopt some kids, because that would be I can guarantee you that would be a thing to do if this was to happen. And let's say universal basic income started at 18. Unless you want to give teenagers who live with their parents universal basic income, that would be dangerous. But let's say it started at 18, right? And I adopt 5 kids, and they're all going to be turning 18 either the same year or within like a year or two of each other, right? And I take that and I straight up tell them, listen, this is how we can start this business, or blah blah blah, invest in this for me. You literally have just gave that dude free money. You literally gave that guy free money, and you've done nothing to fix the situation. Nothing. You just gave somebody who already knew how to make money, that was making money, more free money. Well, now that I think about it, I don't think it's that easy to adopt kids. Whatever. Let's say I had them myself. Jeez. And I want to start a small company. I probably shouldn't have started this example poorly. Gonna hold it over my head. Whatever, it makes sense. Moving on. Alright, if you're gonna give everybody just a stipend every month, regardless, we already have unemployment. So you can't be talking about just people who are unemployed. This has to be for people who also have jobs as well, just that have crappy jobs, right? So $1,500 a month, 12 months, I did the math, that's $18,000 a year. Where do you want to cut off people having an extra $18,000 a year? Where? With the COVID payments, the cutoff is $75,000. Are you really? going to give somebody who's making $74,000 an extra 18? Because I can guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of jobs that no longer pay like 80 to 90 grand. At 74, go up 18, you get $92,000. You're going to have a whole lot of jobs that don't pay anywhere from $75,000 to $90,000. I guarantee it. Because people are going to go in there like, yo, they're going to kind of negotiate. If they see a $77,000 salary, they're going to go in, can we lower that $3 grand? Oh, you want to pay less? Cool, fine by me. And now this person has just made an extra 15 grand because you gave it to him because he didn't make 75. So again, where's the cutoff point for this stipend every month? What are you going to determine is too much money or just enough money to consider broke? Where? 15 grand? 50 grand? So a person who was going to make 50 grand can now make an extra 18, so they make $68,000. You're actually going to cause production problems with this, because now people are going to start turning down overtime when their company needs to do overtime because they've already getting extra money. Now, don't get me wrong. There are going to be some people who, like 10 years ago when I first started working, you would definitely got me to work overtime to get that and the stimulus, but you're going to cause a lot of problems within the workplace because you're giving people extra money on top of what they already have. You all act like lazy people don't exist. And I'm not saying they're the entirety of poor people, but the people who need this typically are the lazy, irresponsible people. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, because that's the truth. I grew up with people who are in that position because of that. So I know for a fact that this is a bad idea. People who make good decisions, when I say good decisions, I just mean okay decisions. Like not having a bunch of kids. Speaking of kids, I've watched people save their kids for tax money. We're literally talking about people, when you start making these types of rules and laws, it's going to eat itself alive. Because these people are going to completely devour the system. But anyway, moving on. Let's get into some universal health care. Alright. First of all, I really must make it a point to debunk the never-ending example that people like to use. The road system comparison. Anytime people want to talk about socialism and all this stuff, benefits and handouts, they always want to bring up the road system. And I understand why. Trust me, I get it. You see something and say, hey, everybody gets to use that, don't they? Does everybody have to pay taxes for it? And even if they do, but well, that just means we all get to use. Some people use it more, some people don't use it as much. Some people do. So there we go. Just case closed. You're okay with roads, you're okay with benefits and healthcare and all this crap. Okay. Except you're wrong. This is a terrible comparison. I heard it used with Chain versus Shapiro, and it bugged me. It cringes. Listen, the road system and the healthcare system. In this context, they're both very broad, general contexts. That's what they are. Nothing is direct to one individual. Now let's take it to the next step where you are talking about individual or the individual's family. In a healthcare system, you would, I guess, have a card, assumingly, take it to the doctor's office, hospital. Hey, here's my insurance. Blah blah blah. My treatments, my surgery, prescription, whatever. Right? Individual, personal, direct, boom. In the road system, you cannot say that. Tell me, you cannot. I refuse to believe that is the equivalent to the freeway. That is not the equivalent to you using Grand Boulevard or Broadway Boulevard. That is not the equivalent. That would be your driveway. That would be your freaking driveway. Don't tell me that it's comparable to the freeway. It's not. because everybody isn't using your healthcare card. They're not. They're not using your healthcare card. Everybody has a healthcare card, a type of healthcare card, a type of road. Dirt road, freeway, side road, side street, sidewalk, all this stuff. So to personalize it in context, talk about your driveway. So stop using the road system as a way to compare it to universal healthcare and say, well, this is why we should have universal healthcare. And by the way, I really need you to come to Detroit or just Michigan in general and tell us how our roads are. Just because it's something that everybody pays for does not mean it's going to work very well. Trust me. Well, don't trust me. Again, you can come see for yourself. Our car insurance is through the roof, probably because we have potholes every 10 feet. Nobody should, person X or person type X shouldn't have to worry about medical debt because they had an accident, or because they're this particular age, or because they're this hardworking, or because they've worked so hard their whole lives, or blah 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 blah. I've heard so many types of arguments like this. People, listen. If you are of a certain age, right, working age, whatever, either your family didn't set you up to where you could have all this stuff thought out, worked out, and going for you. If they didn't do that, it is not your right to pass that on to someone else. Because your parents failed you does not mean that somebody else's parents has to take you in or pick up the tab, etc. But if they want to, they can. And that's another thing about these systems that I want to get to next, now that I think about it. You don't have the right to just pass that on to other people, and they have to do it. For example, to be particular, then I'll move on. I remember hearing somebody say, a 25-year-old should not have to be stifled with medical debt because he doesn't have insurance. Says who? 25 years old, you're not a child. I hate that we pretend 25 years old, you're a child. No, you're not. You're an adult. You're grown. You are not a kid. You do not get to use the excuse of I have my whole life ahead of me. Okay. Yeah, which means you have enough time to pay this off. Don't pass it to me. You're not entitled to that. How horrible is that excuse? If you don't have any type of skill, at all, when I say any type of skill, I literally mean any type of skill. My skill at 25 was literally just being able to show up to work. I'm dead ass serious. My most popular thing for being praised for is this guy shows up and does his work. Now, does that mean I'm retarded? I don't know. Probably so. But that was my sole ability, and it still is today. If this guy really comes and he does his job, you know what? We're going to take you from that temp service, hire you in vacation time. We're going to get you some crappy healthcare, but it's healthcare. $5,000 deductible, you know that crap. But it got me health insurance, and I wasn't going to be stifled with debt because whatever, right? Right? So don't tell me at 25 that you need universal health care because you need to avoid that situation. At 25, if you don't figure it out by then, dude, don't give it to everybody else. They're not your parents. Call them. Jeez. What example did I just say I was going to use? Oh, crap. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe. I don't know. Affordable health care. No, that's not the one I want to jump to. Alright, let's jump to this one. Alright. A private health care is too expensive and it doesn't produce any good results. Okay, what the other thing that's comparable to this that you can put in the same field is when someone said that people who are in a socialist type healthcare system tend to be happier with it. Well, yeah. I'm not even going to debate that. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going to take it at face value because it's irrelevant. You being happy with your healthcare does not mean that I have to pay. Like, no, duh. More people are just like, yes, I like this. That I have to pay very little or I don't have to pay for it at all, and I just have it. Duh. How do you, again, this compassion, this weaponized compassion is really annoying me. How do you get off and say that person's happy with the healthcare because you pay for it? Excuse me, I'm not happy with their healthcare. Like, what is this, dude? Or go ask those same people, that same country, if those people are happy with taxes. Go ask if they're happy with the way that works and see what outcome you get. I guarantee you the people who are not in the bottom 20% are going to tell you this sucks. Because you tax me all the hell and make me pay for other people's stuff. I don't understand why you people think that you're not entitled to this stuff. Just because it sounds good doesn't mean you're entitled to it. Alright, I had to take some time and breathe, drink water. I don't want this podcast to be ranty. I don't, because I do enough of that yelling on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. But I just want to jump to the not understanding or maybe not even caring about this. Well, I guess we're already on that, but that they don't care where the money comes from. And I say that they don't care because I've already revealed that, that they feel that people who are super rich should just pay for it. So I guess they do know where it comes from, they just don't care. And listen, I seen this guy, his name is TMM on YouTube, and one of the arguments that he made in his video was, I can get, in a universal healthcare system, I can get $1 million worth of healthcare for thousands of dollars. I will call that a good system. And he was so assured when he said that. It really just, I think people really are just totally ignorant to how this could work. He also said that other countries, they set a cap on what pharmaceutical companies are able to charge and all this stuff for their profits. Meanwhile, in America, we'd be paying this and that amount for it. And it's like, do you understand that that's probably why? If they're not making but pennies on a profit over there, or a profit so small over there, and they put a lot of research and money into that product, then wherever you can make it up, you're probably going to go make the money over there, right? So maybe other countries should stop doing this, so that our treatments could be a little more affordable in that regard. When I tell people that I don't care about the compassion thing, I don't care what happens to you, people just like, oh my God, you're terrible. Oh, but you literally don't care about other people because you feel you have a right to. Like, wow. You don't care about what happens to rich people because they're rich. Screw them. I know this isn't what we're talking about today, but I'm gonna say this and I'll be done. This just shows me how, actually it has everything to do with what I said earlier. That attitude shows me how not compassionate you really are. That people look for reasons to be an a-hole to someone else, to not care about someone else, to devalue someone else, so they can feel that they're in the right. This situation, this socialism, this healthcare, this is just a small example of how people do that. There's other examples that I won't get into that I thought at the top of my head, but it will go completely left if I say that here. So I'm going to go ahead and just call it quits. I think I've touched on everything. We've talked about the losing your job. We've talked about the good results. We've talked about taxing the roads. I didn't write this down right, so I missed it. Okay, I'm going to touch this and I'm done. It's what my ex-wife said. So she's not my ex-wife. I bombed that joke. Anyway, where they say, I heard somebody say somewhere that the president can get the same care as this person or person. An average Joe can get the same care as the president. And I just gotta ask people who think that's a good idea: are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? You really want very important people to have the same healthcare as people who aren't important? I'm sorry, but listen, as much of a jerk as Donald Trump is, I'm sure you would agree, because I've told you how not compassionate I am. But he probably should get better healthcare than me. He's more important than me. He's the guy who's supposed to make the decisions about this country, or unless that's not his job, maybe. I don't know. But I think there are people who are higher up, or hell, maybe they don't make a whole lot of money, but the way they contribute to society is puts them at a way higher importance level than I. Do you really want a crackhead? You realize we do that now. I used to work with a guy, heroin addict. He had to, I think he either had to wait or he didn't get it and just ended up dying. I never like touched base back with people who knew him, but it was, he had to wait or ended up dying. I'm not sure if he ever got one, on I think it was a heart transplant. Something about his heart, but I don't think it was actually a heart transplant, where they didn't want to give it to him because they knew he was on drugs, because there were other people who needed it. Like, we already do deciding who gets what. Seriously, you want that guy to get the same benefits and treatment as the pastor at your church, assuming your pastor is somebody to be, is a outstanding person in society. You want them to have the same treatment, really. One's want to get off his deathbed and go smoke crack. The other ones want to get off that deathbed and go actually help people. And you want them to have the exact same benefits. Are you out of your mind? Be right, not compassionate. I'm out.